Hello, world, and welcome to Tampering Season. This is Monday Football Monday, part of the SB Nation NFL show. And a reminder before we get started that this show is brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code SBNNFL for a special offer when you sign up. That's code SBNNFL only at DraftKings Sportsbook. This is, once again, the SB Nation NFL show. You can watch this show, Monday Football Monday, live every single Monday, obviously, on the SB Nation NFL Twitter, on the SB Nation NFL Facebook, on the SB Nation NFL YouTube channel, SB Nation NFL. Tattoo it on your brain. My name is RJ Ochoa from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com, your home for the mediocre Dallas Cowboys. I am joined, as I always am, every single Monday by the one, the only, the legendary. Here he is, coming down the tunnel and entering the ring from SB Nation's Arrowhead Prod, Pete Sweeney. Pete, welcome to Monday Football Monday. You look spectacular on this tampering sort of day.
Yeah, legal tampering. So yesterday was illegal. Today it's legal. It's similar to, I don't know if you know the movie series, RJ, The Purge. So now...
that explains a lot about you that you like that movie series.
Talking to players is now legal. I don't know if you knew that about right now. It does feel good. It feels like rule breaking is fun. Hours and days.
This is the point of I don't have a sibling. You do, Pete.
Sometimes it feels good to be bad.
Well, the classic, like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. Now, no holds bar. Touch whatever you want. Go crazy.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
without a doubt. Yeah, that's a good point. And it seems like your Steelers are finally having a new quarterback.
Look, Pete. Look. We
just got
a lot to get to. We got a lot to get to. Let's set the proper stage. All right. We waited today. We've been holding our breath since 10 a.m. I mean, seriously, it feels really great to finally exhale. We've been holding our breath, waiting to start streaming because we do stream this live. You can obviously listen to the show as a podcast, subscribe to the SB Nation NFL show, leave a rating, write a review. But we've waited to start the legal tampering period. Had we done this earlier today, Pete? Illegal. But now it's illegal, 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 any of the other vowels, but not illegal. So you mentioned Mitch Trubisky. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to all of Monday's news. We'll have you covered all week long here on the SB Nation NFL show as the tampering becomes just straight up like formalizing. I don't know what that word would be. But, Pete, we have to start. Irish Eagles, our friend noted on YouTube, asked if I was embarrassed to wear this jersey. The podcast audience cannot see it. I am representing one Manchester United, the finest football club in the world, who got a massive 3-2 win over Tottenham Hotspur last Saturday. Tom Brady was in attendance. There was a video of him with one Cristiano Ronaldo, who had the hat trick in that match, by the way. There was kind of a little bit of a breadcrumb, Pete, about Tom Brady maybe coming out of retirement. Sunday evening came, and bam! Tom Brady is back. He's not going anywhere. Tampa Bay, the Boca Raton boys, it's happening. Tom Brady back for season numero tres with Bruce Arians, the greatest coach who ever lived. Your thoughts, Pete Sweeney?
Well, I think the first thing that I thought about was the league is better with Tom Brady in it.
The league is better, guys, here. Okay.
I'm not somebody who loves the...
I know what it is. Patrick Mahomes got married over the weekend. You're upset that Tom Brady upstaged him.
No, I'm not. If you're going to retire. If you're going to stay in the league, stay in the league. Once you're retired, you probably shouldn't come back. Shawn Michaels really, I think, set the tone for that. He didn't really come back for years and years until the WWE made him the Heartbreak Kid. And I always appreciated that about him. And I don't like the Brett Favre thing. I think things can get a little bit muddled. I will say, if you're going to do the unretire thing, he probably did it at the last possible second, because now, as we had been mentioning, the tampering becomes legal, and the Buccaneers, at least for the next year, are a way more attractive destination. Tom Brady is a better quarterback than quarterback X, whoever it would have been. We weren't sure if Deshaun Watson.
The Kyle Trask disrespect.
Who knows if the Big Bisc Trubisky goes to Tampa instead of Pittsburgh in that type of scenario. So I don't love it. I don't love the move, but I appreciate the NFL a lot more with Tom Brady playing, and I'm happy that we get another year, if not two. I could see him actually staying for longer now, because if you remember last year, I mean, the guy's in his mid-40s, but the ball's got more zip than it did in his 20s. And so who knows how long it could go. He's that type of quarterback, stationary guy. And, of course, the greatest of all time. And, RJ, you alluded to it. Selfishly, I would like to see Mahomes beat Brady in the regular season. The Chiefs play the Bucs next year. And who knows? Maybe we do get a rematch of the Super Bowl in which the Chiefs had no offensive line.
How'd the first one go?
Poorly. Went poorly for Kansas City. But who knows?
Poorly. Not a lot of people use that word. Well done by you.
Thank you.
A proud graduate of Syracuse, your education. It is March. Get those brackets set.
They have dictionaries, and the source high up in central New York. So that's always something I appreciate. Yep.
This was kind of the 11th hour, obviously, for Brady, what with, free agency and all of the tampering, both illegal and legal, seemingly would have been different for Tampa Bay had he not been on the roster. Ryan Jensen followed Tom Brady's return to the Buccaneers. They obviously placed the franchise tag on Chris Godwin. We'll see if they lock him up long term. Yeah, I mean, and it always made sense, right? Like, man, why would Tom Brady retire? Sean Payton's gone. The NFC South, and we'll see. There's still a TBD situation. It kind of feels like one of the Saints or Panthers are going to walk away with Deshaun Watson, so the division gets a little bit more competitive in that sense. But I mean, obviously the easiest path to the playoffs is winning your division. It seems like Tom Brady and the Bucs have a bit of a cakewalk there to repeat, get in for the third time, and repeat as division champions, just to be very clear. So yeah, I mean, Tom Brady's back. I kind of get it. I mean, I get that I do respect that he did not do the Brett Favre thing. I know you mentioned that name. He didn't wait till July,
right.
Didn't drag it out. There weren't these like breadcrumbs of like, there's this thing swirling around, whatever. There was the Ronaldo video, I guess, that was kind of whatever, but it was just really quick, easy, nice, simple tweet. I'm back, whatever. Let's go. Like literally LFG. Let's effing go. So good on you, Brady, for not being ridiculous.
Probably worth reminding folks that Bruce Arians did say Tom Brady is available for 5 first-rounders at the Combine. So we don't know 100% sure if he'll be playing in Tampa. You never know what could happen. It's tampering Monday, but I'm eager to watch the Bucs again. I was not going to really be too excited for Bucs football, and I think that pointed out about the division is a valid one. If there's anyone in NFL history who knows the advantage of beating up on a crappy division and how much more fun that is, it is Tom freaking Brady. And yeah, he comes back to that division in which they're definitely going to win the division. And when you're playing 6 games against those teams, it puts you in a much greater advantage to potentially have an NFC bye, which would make his road easier and so on and so forth. So Brady back in the NFL.
Brady, also the true king of content, got all of the retirement specials and everything, the Man in the Arena series that ESPN, Plus did this past year that kind of tied up with the retirement. Now all the he's back stuff, like this dude just does not miss. But let's stay in the NFC South, Pete. We mentioned it a little bit here. To be very clear, we're going to talk about the football implications of this. There's a lot to it, but Deshaun Watson seemingly is now a viable option for NFL teams to play quarterback for them in 2022. We'll see if there's any sort of punishment from the commissioner, from the NFL. That is also a TBD situation, but teams are obviously way more interested in him than they were, say, on Friday morning. The two teams at the head of the race, Pete, do seem to be division rivals. The New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers both in on Deshaun. Carolina has been linked to him basically from the very beginning. And I mean the very beginning when it was just a matter of he did not want to play for Houston anymore. Obviously, a lot has followed that. The Denver Broncos have traded for Russell Wilson. They are out. The Seattle Seahawks, I guess, technically a destination. You mentioned the Tampa Bay Buccaneers no longer in the mix with Tom Brady returning. So, and this is something we'll get to in a little bit when we talk about the Big Bisc, as you have trademarked and coined. The places and the spots and the opportunities for would-be franchise quarterbacks are starting to kind of dry up as Tampering Monday rolls on.
I think it's going to be New Orleans. I go back to how they ended up with Drew Brees. They really know how to sell a city and a franchise. And I just think if you're Deshaun Watson and you watched what's happened in Carolina over this last few years with Matt Rule, and some of these press conferences are simply embarrassing. And I just think Do you think he's watching the Kanye documentary, by the way, Matt Rule? I couldn't see how he wouldn't be. He has been trying to find another quarterback since the Sam Darnold mistake. At least they're cutting their losses. If you're a quarterback, you always want, if you're any player, you always want this scenario where you have two division rivals going after you, because I think naturally that raises the price a little bit. But kudos in a way for Watson setting this up for himself, in the sense that he has to essentially approve his next team. So even though he isn't a free agent, it really doesn't matter. He kind of is, because the Texans finally agree that they're going to move on for the right compensation, and he has to say, okay, I will go to this team. I think it'll ultimately be New Orleans. That would be my guess, just because of the outside looking in. It just seems like a better situation and scenario.
I will say, I think that, if it was Pete Sweeney who was being courted, and let's be clear, my man Pedro Sweeney is courted all the time. I mean,
right.
Get in line, people.
It's incessant, yeah.
Right.
It's tough. It's tough to pick, right?
But if it were you, I think the choice is New Orleans, right? Like if you're choosing which team you want to play football for, it's the New Orleans Saints. And obviously he's got the no trade clause, so he obviously controls that.
Carolina is God's country, but it's hard to ignore the Gumbo and the Po' Boys and the Jazz, which I love all three. And great weather down there. Sometimes a little bit muggy, but still, I like the organization's direction a little bit better. And you're starting fresh. I mean, you got a new head coach in there. I know Sean Payton's going to the Cowboys next year, so that'll be a little interesting. But I just think it's a better option right now, New Orleans.
Well, and I do think, though, that Carolina will have a bigger offer, because Carolina, dude, is desperate. I mean, like, yeah, they are screaming, we want Deshaun. The going rate for Deshaun.
We want Deshaun. Gotta have Deshaun.
But
they've been singing that since last year, and they've been singing it loud. This isn't something where you're humming to yourself. This has been belting it out.
Right.
In the
and then they tried to change it up
Deshaun,
to like convince themselves that life was good. Like, we got Darnold. Got Darnold. But it just didn't.
I don't know if you remember, and this is important to remember, week 1 to 3 of next year, a lot of people had Darnold fever. The first week, remember, he was the best rushing quarterback of all time, better than Cam Newton and Michael Vick for a little bit there with all the touchdowns. And then, so let's just keep that in mind as we go into week 1 this year.
Well, my whole point there before our soliloquy was I do think that Carolina is going to have the bigger offer. So I think, but unfortunately, Deshaun's not going to want to, waive his no trade to go to Carolina. So I think Houston's going to ultimately have to settle for the weaker offer. I do think it will obviously be sizable because they're not going to let him go unless it's, 3 first-round picks, 4th round. I mean, who knows? We'll see how New Orleans is able to finagle that situation. If any team can kind of get out of a pickle, they certainly can. It's been reported they can fit Deshaun Watson under the cap because the cap doesn't exist for the New Orleans Saints. Salary cap doesn't really exist for anybody unless you're the Dallas Cowboys. Then it's like, got you. It's like a vice grip. Like, boom, you cannot move anywhere.
Right.
But okay, so TBD on Deshaun Watson. Seems like we may have an answer as the new league year officially approaches. So today is kind of like December 29th, Pete. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the day before New Year's Eve, but it's close. So like, if you got a resolution you haven't taken care of, now would be the time to do so.
I'm a big new league year guy. I think it really makes everything start fresh. You get an updated look at everyone's salary caps, because you're looking at these salary caps now, and there could all be this grand blueprint for every team in the NFL where they're going to have X amount of space by Wednesday. So even now, as we're in legal tampering Monday, recording at 12:30, you don't really have a full picture of how much room your team truly has, because you don't know what they're going to do these next 3 days to get under. Everyone needs to be under by the beginning of it, and then I think you really start to see these deals made. It's such a weird week. They got to really fix this week because as one of my colleagues noted on Twitter that's on the Chiefs beat with me, 1 minute into legal tampering, there was a 4-year deal. I can't remember what the deal was, but it's like everyone's talking. Everyone knows that everyone's talking. Can we just lean into what's actually happening here? It just feels a little silly sometimes.
Agreed. Okay, let's it's really all about the quarterbacks right now, as it was last week. It's been noted, obviously, all the chaos that happened. Russell Wilson to the Broncos, Aaron Rodgers returns, Carson Wentz to the Commanders, which spawned an emergency episode of the NFC East mixtape, in case anybody wants to go back in their podcast platform. But we have a new quarterback in the Berg, Mitchell Trubisky, as my man Pete Sweeney calls him, his man, the Big Bisk, is headed to the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 2-year deal. It doesn't seem like Big Ben Roethlisberger is going to be coming out of retirement like Tom Brady. Ben, Let's be honest. The Steelers tolerated Ben last year, but well, they're moving on. They got a mobile guy.
Pittsburgh's been there, done that, right?
Done that.
We know exactly, and he was a different scenario than Brady. Brady looked as good as he had all his career. Big Ben was on his last leg. I mean, you'll make these jokes, but you're lucky that he didn't have to have a walker or a wheel off the field. I mean, he has no choice to come back. So similar thing happened to Peyton and Eli to an extent. Not
that was Eli's whole career, to be very clear, not like just the end. But anyway, anyway, Mitchell Trubisky is headed to Pittsburgh. Nothing helps a formerly bad but drafted highly quarterback more than time away. Mitchell, right. Do you know how many games Mitchell Trubisky was active for last year? Did I already ask you this?
15.
6. I mean, right. What did he do? Like, what? I mean, like, I think we're all inclined to trust Mike Tomlin. So, like, that they kind of get the benefit of the doubt here. But I mean, this is it, Mitchell Trubisky. We've now seen 2 former number 2 overall picks get chances multiple years later in Carson Wentz and Mitchell Trubisky.
You gotta give something though to the smoke that. So Daboll goes to the Giants, and it seemed like there was legitimate interest there, even though they have Daniel Jones in place. If you're Mitch Trubisky and you're looking at that scenario and you felt like you played better behind the scenes with Daboll, I think you're considering it, but you're probably going to be a backup again. In Pittsburgh, the difference with that is he signs with the Steelers. Man, it's Mason Rudolph. He's going to walk in there and be the starter on day 1. I know that Mike Tomlin's going to come out, and I'm sure the organization's going to come out with after Colbert goes and they have a new GM, and I bet you they'll say this is a competition. But I think very quickly into training camp, Trubisky's going to win this job, and you're going to see that he's getting more of the reps and so on and so forth. So for me, I like it, and I'm signed up, and I'm telling you, I'm interested in the Mitch Trubisky makeover rebuild. I think it's a very intriguing AFC storyline, and I know that Mike Tomlin has this insane streak going where they're never under 500, and I'm not saying they'll be able to keep that up, but they have a much better chance than they did an hour ago, in my opinion.
Irish Eagles notes on our YouTube feed, better than Rudolph and Haskins, I guess. I agree. Like, the floor is higher. I don't know. It's considerably higher, but I don't know. It's high. Adam Schefter, actually, while you were talking, Pete, tweeted this out. It's a screenshot, and it says text from Steelers quarterback to be Mitch Trubisky. So a flex from Adam that he's got Mitchell's phone number. All right, let's be clear about this. But this is what the text message says. Nice. And by the way, the screenshots of the notes. Any
emojis in the text?
No, but it's a screenshot of the notes app. So it's not like he even screenshotted the messages app. You know what I'm saying? Like he copied the text and then pasted it in the notes app and then took the screenshot and then cropped it and everything. But
notes app, underrated app of the year. I mean, that's a key for me. I use it quite a bit.
I don't know, man. This is the year of TikTok. I mean, if you're talking like, let's be clear.
I just got TikTok a few weeks ago.
Pete's back on the gram, by the way, everybody. Drop the IG handle.
Invested in all the apps right now. Yeah, it is overwhelming.
Pete Silicon Valley Sweeney. The statement from Trubisky: I am beyond excited and blessed for the opportunity to be a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. The word organization capitalized. Interesting. I have tremendous respect for the Rooney family and Coach Tomlin. They have built one of the best rosters in football, and I can't wait to contribute and help this team continue their success.
Nice.
I mean,
Rooney
do you have any real thoughts on this? I mean, anything crazy?
I'm all in. I'm all in on the Pittsburgh Steelers now. I think this is a good story. I want to see Mitch Trubisky do well, right? I think this will be fun, and it's good that he's going to get an opportunity to really take that job by the horns. I think if he does end up in a Giant situation, it could have just been more of last year. But I think this is a little bit of a statement, him picking that team, because he feels he's ready to go. He had his sabbatical. He felt like he learned. He had a fresh start. He went to Buffalo, your Bills. Came up a little short this year, but you know what? Now he goes to a new team and can make it his own. That's great.
Sticking in the AFC North, the Cleveland Browns traded for Amari Cooper on Saturday. Woo! Woo! Good job, Cowboys. Didn't have to pay much. It was a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick swap. That
really
Cleveland
leaned into Gallup in Dallas.
They really did. They locked him up to a long-term deal on Sunday evening.
He's injured right now. I mean, I would be a better receiver than Gallup at this point.
That is friend of Blog of the Boys, Michael Gallup. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So, this isn't about the Cowboys. This is about the Browns, who traded for Amari Cooper. Took all his contract. That was kind of the big selling point, I suppose. And it was reported that they had given Jarvis Landry it's never a good thing, the permission to seek a trade. You get permission to seek a trade, get the hell out of here. That's what that means.
Right.
Get the hell out of my house. All right.
How often do you? It's a good point. How often do you see the permission happen and then they find a partner? I mean, it is a rare back-to-back update that you get where they're like, "Oh, we found somebody." It's like, no, they know that you're going to be released in 3 days. Why would anyone trade anything for you?
I just feel like it's such a desperate thing too. It's like I'm giving anybody permission to ask me to the prom. You know what I mean?
It happened one time, and it kind of happened with Rodney Hudson in Arizona, or where the Raiders was going to outright release him, and it wasn't really permission to seek a trade. Cardinals were like, whoa, wait, and then sent a 3rd rounder. So what are the Raiders doing? No wonder Mayock isn't there anymore. How did I get down this rabbit hole?
Anyway,
yeah,
let's come back. Let's come back.
He's available.
So he got the permission to seek a trade, the PTSAR, permission to the Putzar. Once you get that Putzar, baby, I mean, you're a Putzar at the door.
Right.
That did not culminate in anything notable. In fact, on Monday, as the legal tampering window opened, the Browns just outright cut him. Outright cut Jarvis Landry. He is a free agent. Business. He can go anywhere he wants. Where's it going to be, Pete? Where's it going to be? What's a fit? What do you want to see? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to put Jarvis Landry? You control everything right now. You're the puppeteer, baby. Make him dance.
Well, the teams that have been linked to him already are the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Packers.
Chiefs suck. Nobody's going to the Chiefs.
I'm surprised that he's linked to the Chiefs because I think he's a little bit undersized to the type of receiver that they've been looking for now 2 off seasons. Doesn't mean he isn't any less good. I just think they have him, and they have a better version of him in Tyreek Hill to me a little bit more. So I don't really get it. Bills are interesting. I think if you have a good quarterback, you continue to surround them with weapons. But I think the Packers, to me, make the most sense. And I think it's a sign of good faith, right? How long has it been a storyline where they're just not investing in Aaron Rodgers' weapons? And you know that this guy could have some type of resurgence in Green Bay. He did have a down season, but remember, he came out in mid-February and told people that he personally felt that he had come back too soon from injury. His brother from another mother, Odell, had similar complaints, I believe, in Cleveland before he ultimately moved on. And, I think there always is that caveat of, well, big-time name player moves on.
Oh, we got a big-time name player on the move here, Pete Sweeney. All right, that's the beauty of free agency frenzy. We're the only people to use that term. Are you ready for this?
We're moving on from Juice.
I mean, it's not a lot of juice to this.
We could come back to Juice when we have a new team for him. Who's going?
According to Adam Schefter, Washington Pro Bowl guard Brandon Scherff intends to sign. Who needs some offensive line help right now for their young quarterback, Pete?
The Jags. The
Jacksonville Jaguars. Come on down.
We got to get some Sounders on the show.
I'm the Sounders, Pete.
Okay.
All right. That's
fair. Yeah, sure.
Great move for Jacksonville. In fact, Cincinnati also locked up. Oh no, this was a fake tweet. I'm sorry, something else. My mind's all. I'm stuck on Adam Schefter's timeline. So the Bengals, is like that was the deal you were talking about. Is free agency opened up? I'm looking for the exact numbers right here.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Goodness gracious, I can't find it now. It's all over the place. But your thoughts on Brandon Scherff going to the Jacksonville Jaguars? While I look. Oh, I'm sorry. It was Alex Kappa who is headed to the Bengals. So both the Bengals and Jaguars locking up some offensive line help for their young quarterbacks.
These were 2 teams that need it. We saw that last year. Joe Burrow was still beat up. This was a year after he was injured for the year, and missed the end of the season. So you have to get that done. It's hard to hate the Chase move when their connection is just explosive, but they knew going into this offseason they had to make a point similar to what Kansas City did last year, just reversing the course. And it's one of those things where if you have this young quarterback and you're trying to build him and you're trying to make your team something, unless they have time, they're not going to be able to do anything. Burrow was able to really sustain poor offensive line play, and really impressive that they were able to make the Super Bowl with that offensive line, especially when you had these games where he just was getting beat up. So similar thing happening with Trevor Lawrence, and I think Trevor Lawrence's first year was a disaster. Urban Meyer was a huge part of that, but another big part of it was he had no time, and I think he needs that to really develop and come into his own. So I like this move. Big Doug Peterson fan, as you know. What's up to Bear? I know that he's excited about that. He's a big Jags fan. So, there's a lot of folks to be excited, or there's a lot of folks excited today. And I think this makes them better, and it sets the tone in what is now this Doug Peterson-led situation. And that's another storyline that I'm eager to see. Young quarterback in the AFC. Let's see how he does now as he gets a little bit more protected.
I agree. Great day for Trevor Lawrence. Great day for Joe Burrow. The new age quarterback, all kind of getting help. Who's the quarterback that's kind of sitting here like Will Smith in Fresh Prince? You know what I mean? With everybody out. I'm talking about the meme, like everything's gone from the living room. Like, who's the quarterback that's like, man, I'm getting no help around here? Like the young guy that's kind of sitting there. I'm scanning, I'm looking, I'm trying to figure it out.
I hate to tell you this. It's probably Dak at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
Is CD enough? Does Gallup have a cast on his leg or something right now? What's happening? Where are all my receivers?
All right, this was an awesome question. I'm super glad I asked it. Thank you very much. Yeah. Maybe Tua? Maybe Tua is that answer right now?
Right.
I mean, Dak's a little bit older than those guys. So,
he's the Fresh Presk of Bel Air at this stage.
Oh! Come on. And that's why they call him Pete Sweeney. Right. The New England Patriots are expected the New England Patriots are expected to reach a new deal with 10-time Pro Bowl special teamer Matthew Slater, according to Field Yates. But if you play with the Patriots on Madden, he is a safety because Madden doesn't know how to
Fresh Prince to Saved by the Bell. Nice transition, yeah.
Irish Eagles says Hurts. Jalen Hurts may be the quarterback who's kind of left out in the cold. Nobody cares. The Eagles are insignificant. That's really
Jalen Reagor.
No, that's true. The Bengals are also, Pete, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, signing offensive lineman Ted Karras to a 3-year, $18 million deal. The Bengals are not messing around, baby. They want to get back. They want that beef up front. All right? They want to win it all.
Cincinnati, all of a sudden here, is legitimately an AFC contender, and they're ensuring now
beat
that
the Chiefs in the AFC title game. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they're ensuring now that it is sticky. Right, this is not one of these things that's going to be a one-hit wonder.
Flash in the pan. They don't want to be that. No way.
No. So
they don't want to be the one season of Firefly. They want to be the Big Bang Theory. They want 12 seasons of greatness.
Right, 12 seasons of greatness. It's quite literally for the past few years here been Chiefs and Bills, and I think you're seeing early on here in free agency that the Bengals are making a statement. They made the Super Bowl. They won the AFC. It's 1 year, but they're saying to everybody, look, we're gonna do this again, and you guys gotta look at us on the schedule. This isn't your daddy's Bengals. This is a new look, made over. Queer eye for the straight guy. They came out and they're made over and they're ready to rock. And
you said you just got on TikTok. Have you seen the one sound that is Ruth from Ozark?
Of course I have.
She's
I'm an Ozark fan myself.
Right, but the line I'm talking about, she's like, if you want to stop me.
Careful. She curses.
I know. She's like, if you want to stop me, you're going to have to, we're going to leave that off because it's a family show. Kill me. And that's what the Bengals are doing. If you want to stop us, you're going to have to be the Rams because they actually literally stopped us in the Super Bowl. We lost
only
the Super
team
Bowl.
to do it.
Right.
That's how the playoffs work. Yep.
Okay, so that's that. To get back to Jarvis Landry, Packers would be fun. I do think on the subject of the Super Bowl, I do think the Odell factor is real for him. I think he's like, man, I want some of that. I like that's the thing. Like, people call it ring chasing, whatever. I got to go to a team that's on the cusp, on the precipice. I want to get my ring, get my natty, get in, get out, get paid, move on.
I was thinking quite literally about that when I saw Juice available because he has such a connection with OBJ, but then Robert Woods will be back. They just have too many receivers for him to realistically go to that team. So I think he'll go somewhere where they need a complement, but just not that's already so loaded up like LA, right?
I guess. I mean, that's what the Packers would be like if they cut Randall Cobb. They have other options, but something like that makes sense.
That if Landry goes to Green Bay, this Devontae thing will be figured out. If Aaron is back, Devontae will be figured out.
Agreed.
Landry's probably, and I think he's a 1,000-yard receiver in Green Bay. Really?
Yeah, but
That's
1,000 yards
option.
means like nothing anymore. You know what I mean? That's like.
All right. Well, so I'll go 1,200. How about that? A dozen.
I disagree.
Times
that
100.
will
Maybe a
happen.
Baker's dozen. 1,300.
Ooh. Okay. Let's move on. One
Okay.
piece of news. Oh my gosh. One piece of news. Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
Yeah, born ready for it.
I don't know. I don't care about when you were born. But anyway.
88. Year of the Dragon.
Year of the Dragon.
That's right.
No, you're the animal sound effect. Let's give us a dragon.
It's like a
Do
fire.
Oh my gosh, that was sick, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can see the fire out of my
That was sick.
smoke billowing right out of my ears.
On command. Wow.
Yeah.
Respect.
Game of Thrones.
On Sunday night, I mean, Tom Brady's back. Oh my gosh, chaos. What's going to happen? The
Right.
NFC is this crazy place. I had an itch on my face I had to scratch. And then the Minnesota Vikings come in. All right. That's the Mandalorian sound, actually. But the Vikings gave Kirk Cousins a 1-year extension, $35 million, and then the verbiage that has only ever been associated with my man Kirk C, the Viking skull, fully guaranteed, locking him up under contract through 2023. This man, Pete Sweeney, has made over $230 million in his NFL career. Put some respect on Kirk's name.
You know what? I think probably the natural, if you've listened to the show before, you would think my natural reaction would be like, I completely hate this. I don't like it. I don't completely hate it. And it goes back to just the
Kirk is fine. Kirk is
quarterback.
He's like the 11th best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah,
That's
bear
fine.
with me here. It's a bet O'Connell is making on himself, because essentially what he is saying is we can take this top 15 quarterback and probably 15th. It's like the Cousins line to me. And we're going to make him with the new thing, the new scheme that we're going to be instilling in this organization. We're going to make Kirk consistently a top 10 quarterback. And O'Connell's good with quarterbacks. So it's a bet on himself, and I'm eager to see if he can pay it off. I tend to think it's a bad horse to be betting on, but in the NFL, you only have so many options with these guys. Like, so say they move on from Kirk, it's not like they have someone in the building already where you're like, this is a slam dunk. It would have been. You're putting. That's what's confusing about the Seahawks move, because you get Drew Lock back, and you're like, well, now you're just one of these teams who doesn't have one of those guys above the Cousins line. And when it's quite literally Kirk Cousins, I just think it's probably, all right, let's see what we can do with him. And I do think there will always be an eye to the future, because you got to be thinking we have to continue to try to upgrade it here. But for the time being, we're still going to be a relevant football team.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think they were kind of stuck. We saw the Atlanta Falcons kind of do the same thing, kind of just double down on Matt Ryan at this point. Because this offseason, if you weren't going to get Russell Wilson, like, okay, the Packers got Aaron Rodgers back. That wasn't like a new movement, but like, so the Broncos and the Buccaneers got Tom Brady back. And as far as new faces, the Broncos got Russell Wilson, who got like notably better. Like the guy that's gotten a new quarterback so far. Who are you like, holy crap, that team, like, they're going for it. They got that new quarterback. Nobody.
Right.
I get it. Again, people will hate on Kirk because it's low hanging fruit, and they like the easy joke and the layup. But I think it's fine.
Hard because it's just hard to see him being better than 10-7 ever. I mean, that to me is the ceiling that you have with Kirk, and it's usually going to be 8-9, and then you're just picking in the middle, and your franchise gets stuck in muck. So long as they sign Kirk to this deal, but they don't say, all right, we're good now, we're going to stop looking, we're not afraid to draft a Jordan Love. So long as you talk to the quarterback, like, learn your lesson from Green Bay in your division.
This isn't possible. This isn't possible, but like, hypothetically, just for hypothetical sake, if they had cut Kirk, like if he had been made available, he's the best quarterback on the open market, right? Like, easily. He's by far the best quarterback available on the open market.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
unfortunately.
So okay, but he's not going. So he's not going anywhere. So who is the best quarterback left conceivably that isn't Deshaun Watson? Because that's a very specific thing from a talent perspective, obviously.
Winston, right? Or Teddy?
Or Jimmy? I mean, I don't know that the answer is Jimmy. I mean, but those are the contenders, right?
I do not think that I would want Jimmy G over either.
Jameis is the highest ceiling. So like I'm
definitely not over Winston, maybe over Teddy. Winston,
I would probably go
Jimmy
Jameis.
G.
I would go Jameis, Jimmy, Teddy. Because if Teddy throws a pick six, I mean, I don't know that I can trust him anymore.
I would agree with you. Yeah, I would agree with you.
Again,
Jameis
highest ceiling.
MF MVP today.
We got to hand out the MF double MVP. Don't forget about that. Everyone's holding their breath. We've been holding it for a little while. Finally got some release, but everyone's been holding it.
I'm having a pretty good shot. I feel pretty good about it today.
Well, Rachel has handed out 2 MF double MVP so far in the history of Monday Football Monday.
That's right.
There's an elite club of people who are allowed entry. Rachel obviously, runs the club, but Stats and I are in there, partying, dancing, doing our own thing. Cupid Shuffle's playing. It's good times. But anyway. Making sure. Yeah, but
no thanks.
Yeah, Jameis highest ceiling, Jimmy highest floor, Teddy just kind of in the middle. That's just kind of the way it goes. So that being said,
the Jags are just making some moves out here right now.
Oh, Jags are locking up. Jags are throwing around funny money. Jags are like, when you're just dominating a monopoly and you're just like on Baltic Avenue. You know what I mean? Like you got enough to just flex and throw around. It doesn't matter at this point.
I'm big into like the waterworks and the railroads. I like those specialties.
Ah, okay. I mean, and when you get them all, then there's the special like bump you get. I mean,
Yeah, the train station. I'm a train station guy.
Good for you. And those are great landing spots because there's one every piece of the board. Good for you, Pete. Great strategy.
Do you think that anyone has actually legitimately ever finished Monopoly, or is it just always like, look, dude, I mean, I'm never gonna win this game. We've been playing for seven hours. I
honestly don't know how the game ends. Like, does it just end when somebody's money's gone?
You have to just bankrupt your family members. You got to say, look, you guys have no money. I don't care. And,
what's your favorite piece to use? You're playing Monopoly. What's the piece you want to be?
I'm a showman, so I like the hat. Right, so I could really showboat with it too. Take off my little hat, tip it to my poor sister who I've just bankrupt, and say, "Hey, have a good day," and then put my hat back on the board. Okay,
I'm a race car guy because I like to just like keep it on the board and just slide it so it looks like it's driving. You know what I'm saying? Rachel, let's get Rachel in here, hear her Monopoly starting piece, and then set her up for MF double MVP in a little bit. Rachel, what is your go-to piece to play as when you play a game of Monopoly with your family, your friends, or your enemies, whatever?
Right. Nothing like a good Monopoly game with your enemies. I should say that.
The dog, maybe? Yeah, sure.
It's a good one. Good one. Tough day for the battleship around here, but yeah.
Cannot believe an iron is actually a piece. It's stunning. Of all the objects you can be in the world, why is an iron even an option?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, Rachel, thank you very much. Get ready for MF double MVP because it's coming sooner rather than later. If you're listening to this or watching this after the fact, what Monopoly piece are you? Let us know on Twitter. Pete is on Twitter at PG Sween. Rachel at Rachel Monique. I am at RJ Ochoa. Let us know which one is the best. But we get back to the game of the NFL that is Monopoly. So where does Jameis land if it's not New Orleans? Like who's the next team? Who's the Steelers are out, the Broncos are out, the Vikings are out, the Falcons are out, obviously. I mean, who's left? Like who's this is a cakewalk. You know what I mean? There's only a few people left. Like who's gonna get the cake?
I gotta think it's Seattle, right? Wouldn't that make sense to you? I think
Seattle. So one of New Orleans or Carolina is getting Deshaun Watson, right? We're somewhat firm in this. I mean,
yeah, and I think Pete Carroll will be able to convince Jameis more to me than what would be Matt Rule. I don't trust Matt Rule. I think he was a sexy hire, and it sounded like
Jameis is like the worst quarterback for Pete Carroll, though. By the way, like all Pete wants to do is run the ball. Jameis just wants to heave it downfield. Like those are polar opposite.
It would
philosophy.
Be a different system, but I think
Teddy is the perfect Pete Carroll quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater.
You want to set yourself up for success. I mean, and that to me, if you're buying into what Carolina's cooking up, I just think you're setting yourself up for failure. They got to go after one of these guys because Matt Rule has one more year, and if he has a terrible quarterback, they're going to be changing coaches again, in my opinion. So, to me, I think you go after Watson. I don't think it's going to work out, and I'm sure they'll go maybe after a Jimmy G or what would be a Bridgewater after that. But I don't know. I like Winston in Seattle. Right? I mean, I think that might be
okay. So, what about the Colts? Colts are kind of Right now, everybody's out on the dance floor, like I said, to the right, to the right, to the right.
The Colts are in a situation where
they're just like leaning up against the wall, like they're wallflowering it up.
It's such a statement made about Carson Wentz when the Colts they said we'd rather have no option than have Wentz in the building, right? And so Winston, to me, even in their mind, would be a grand upgrade, I think. And I think that would be fun. I think Winston in Seattle or Winston in Indy would be fun. So that's what I'm hoping for. Both teams do like to run the football. I mean, you got JT in Indy. You got to make sure you're handing the ball off quite a bit.
That's what I'm saying. Teddy Bridgewater seems destined for Seattle or Indianapolis to me. You know what I mean? Like, Jameis needs to be somewhere that's like, Jameis is the perfect, we didn't get Deshaun, please get excited about us, move for the Panthers.
Do you think that Seattle would not want to put Locke with Bridgewater again? You know what I mean?
Hey, hold up. Wait a minute. Stop down. I don't know what I was going to say. But another young quarterback has just gotten another offensive lineman. This is like, this is Turbo Man Christmas. Every kid opening his present. Turbo Man. Right. Turbo Man. It's Turbo Man. And Zach Wilson has a Turbo Man. 49ers free agent guard Laken Tomlinson intends to sign with the New York Jets, according to Adam Schefter. It's a good time to be a young quarterback in need of some offensive line help.
These deals, we haven't gotten the sexy deals with the skill position players quite yet, but these are important deals to give these guys a chance. I thought to an extent all three of these guys were in trouble. Burrow, unbelievably able to make the Super Bowl anyway, but you didn't really get, I think, a good start with Lawrence and Wilson because of some of these issues. So it again, not the flashy move with the names of the skill position players yet. I'm sure those will come, but these are important moves for these franchises for sure.
It is a 3-year deal worth $40 million, according to NFL Network, with a max value of $41.2 million and $27 million and guaranteed. Wow. Woo. That's a lot of cheddar. It's a lot of money, a lot of good times.
Protect your quarterback, though. You went and spent a premium pick on the guy, and it looked like Mike White was a better option at one point. So let's try to do anything we can to make Wilson look good this year.
I tweeted out, by the way, our Monopoly pieces, and Brian Zuniga on Twitter at Backhome210 responded and said the shoe is the best piece. We didn't even think of this shoe. It's more like a boot, right? What are we missing? The thimble. Colby Wade Fryer on Twitter at C_FR13R says the thimble. So
the fact of the matter is they've added pieces as the years have gone on.
No, we're talking to OGs. I mean,
you got to be one of these classic pieces. The idea of using one of the news. I think the dog might be new school. That's not to call out our girl, but
Omar H007, so Omar H007, excuse me, actually comes in with the iron. So we've got some love for the.
Yeah. If you were following,
a lot of water involved.
It might be time to unfollow. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. Tough scene. Race car is the best. Just being honest with you guys. Okay, what have we missed, Pete? As I see you have now responded with a GIF of a top hat. The top hat GIF we were looking for, by the way, was the guy from Lost doing the gentleman from How I Met Your Mother. That's the best top hat GIF.
I should hand out the come up of the week, and it's to Tom Brady's social team, who now gets to work for another year and just continue to pump out top line athlete content, and we get to enjoy it as well. They were really down in their luck. I had seen articles that they were looking for a new quarterback. They had flirted with Joe Burrow a little bit, and look, the avocado tequila tweets live on for another year.
Just another avocado tequila sunrise. Shout out to the Eagles. Those are the only good Eagles, just to be very clear.
Gronk probably is going to be back in Tampa too, we'd guess, right, at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be weird if he was elsewhere. It would feel unnatural. I love the Bills, but that ship has sailed at this point in time.
It seemed like he wanted to go to Cincinnati. If
I actually want to re-award the Come Up of the Week. Come Up of the Week here on the official Come Up of the Week on Monday Football Monday goes to Manchester United's own Cristiano Ronaldo, who seemingly, with his hat trick on Saturday against Tottenham Hotspur, inspired Tom Brady to come out of retirement from one GOAT to another. It's like me and you here, Pete. One GOAT, the other GOAT. Cristiano Ronaldo, Tom Brady, good times. Congratulations on the actual Come Up of the Week to Ronaldo, the GOAT. If this joke was flying around, if Brady had gone and watched Messi play, there's no way he comes out.
No way. No shot. This has been a hat-filled show. The players, a lot of players around the league wearing new hats.
The Players
today.
is actually going on right now on the PGA Tour, Players Championship.
Ronaldo with the hat trick. Obviously letting you know that the hat is the best monopoly piece.
Sing it, Pete.
Hatter Day. Today it's like who cares about the tampering? It's Hatter Day today.
We also got a new trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog today. I mean, like, today is just dominating.
Gotta see the Batman soon. I've been
Batman. Get the trademark rights. I haven't seen it either. We'll figure it out. It's a big thing.
I need to see it.
It hits HBO Max next month. If you got to wait, just don't worry, I got your back.
I'll watch it at home.
The time has come, Pete. We're a great duo, but now we must return to our respective corners of the ring.
Okay.
And the all-knowing empress that is Rachel is going to come in and award the third ever MF double MVP. In case you have no idea what this is the Monday Football Monday Most Valuable Player. MF double MVP goes to the person who had the best performance on the latest edition of Monday Football Monday. Rachel, the floor is yours. Remember who asked you about your smoothie before the show started, though?
Based off of the Monopoly pick, am going to go with PG Sweeney.
No,
yeah, I knew it. I just knew it. I knew I was having a good show. I did mention it. I almost jinxed myself, and I still stayed the course, and I appreciate it. I'd like to thank God, my parents for having me. It's a couple of the improv courses I took, because you never say no in improv. We just kept on sailing today, and thank you to Rachel. It's quite an honor. So I appreciate.
No love for the hat. She literally chose you because of the Monopoly thing, and you didn't even thank the hat.
Right. Good to check on Amazon to see what the price point is on a top hat. Maybe we'll get one for the next episode.
Okay. All right. Before we leave, Pete, last thing. Just we're tying a bow right here. All right. Loop, swoop, and pull.
Tied up. Right.
One prediction. One prediction for free agency. One prediction. Give me something. Give me something juicy. Give me something to sink my teeth into, like a big.
I'm going to continue to lean in with Jameis to Seattle. I like that, especially because I think once Deshaun falls to New Orleans, I think he'll have to look elsewhere, and I like him. I like him there. Seattle's best.
I will say Deshaun goes to Carolina. And Christian McCaffrey goes to Houston. That's a part of like the domino effect of it all. So
Davis Mills, right? Every quarterback better with CMC as long as he's healthy, because you have to always be watching where he is, and it opens things up.
I think this is a big week for Houston sports that aren't the Rockets. They get Christian McCaffrey, new face of the Texans, and Carlos Correa returns. Dude, poor baseball. Like, baseball free agency is going on, and like nobody cares. Like, this is...
Do you think if CMC goes to Houston, JJ Watt might go back? He might be like, you know what, I want that old thing back.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. Pete, congratulations.
Thank you.
MF double MVP.
Feels good.
Send us home. You earned it, man. I'm so proud of you, friend.
Well, I mean, it's a, usually we try to end on a joking note, but the bad guy, Razor Ramon, unfortunately, it sounds like he's going to be taking off life support. So one of my favorites of all time. Thoughts and prayers with the Scott Hall family today. Just the best. So tough day in that sense.
Tough day indeed. Thanks for joining us, everybody. SB Nation NFL Show has you covered all free agency long and always, and we'll see you next Monday.